This is Dolynny TV. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to, I guess, part number 2 of the Battle of Alberta review from last night. Some breaking news on Instagram this morning regarding our defenseman, right? The left-hand shot that was injured, Slater Koekkoek, last night. The Oilers played a majority of last night's hockey game without Slater Koekkoek after he took a massive hit from Sam Bennett. It was called interference. It was a late hit, and it ends up injuring Slater Koekkoek bad enough to take him out of the game. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a 7-1 win for the Oilers is a pretty big loss of time in the NHL for Slater Koekkoek, who, well, Connor McDavid might know this a little bit too, broke his collarbone in that hit. So you remember Sam Bennett just comes freight train through the neutral zone, clips him up high and just sends him spinning, and he was hurting. You knew Slater Koekkoek was hurting. So this, if you're wondering how I got this, it's available on Twitter now via Oilers Nation, I do believe. But this is an Instagram story from Slater Koekkoek of the x-ray of his shoulder bone. So yeah, pretty rough going. You look at how it's looking right there. Yeah, he's going to be in some pain for a little while here. He's going to have that good old sling. He's going to have a lot going on with the shoulder for a while. And now the question, he says, see you soon. It's kind of clipped off here in the picture, is it's not, doesn't show the full thing. But if I can read the whole thing on Instagram for you, and I dang well will. Battle of Alberta 1, Collarbone 0. You already see that on your screen. But big win for the boys, though. See you in a few, is his message to the team right there as he ends up out of the lineup now for a while, and, well, it becomes unavoidable, right? At what point do you end up having to call up Caleb Jones into the NHL lineup once again? But here's the beauty. All this while, we have Caleb Jones to call up into the NHL lineup. Now with 3 NHL defensemen out between Bear, Lagesson, and Koekkoek, that now means that unless there's somebody down in the minors, like unless there's somebody down there that they really feel hot on and they're willing to wait 2 weeks for and play with 5 defensemen for, well, you know what? Caleb Jones now solidly has himself a spot back in the Oilers lineup for the time being is the question mark, because, well, what's happening with Bear? Apparently a couple of setbacks and he's not fully ready to go yet. And then, of course, you've got William Lagesson, who during my break I've kind of missed what the update on him is, but I'm sure we'll figure that one out pretty soon. And of course the Oilers do have 2 off days. They have today, Sunday, off from games. They've played 20 games and they'll let everybody catch up for a day and then face the Vancouver Canucks on February 23rd, in which I believe that is the reverse retro night, and we'll be having a lot of fun with that one, I can tell you that for sure. So that's the story, right? That's the scoop. Slater Koekkoek out, and I mean a guy who's just been kind of similar, lesser to of an extent though, similar to Chris Russell, a guy you can depend on to just give you the right minutes, the right game, and you know what, if he makes mistakes, you weren't counting on him to be your number 1 defenseman by any stretch of the imagination, and you weren't really counting on him to do much more than be a 3rd pair defenseman. Chris Russell still has that game elevation available to him where he can play that 2nd pair and still hold it down for us, which is nice, but you also have, right, Slater Koekkoek, who came in there, was a more veteran presence to play alongside young Evan Bouchard, allow Bouchard to stay in the lineup, have a guy that, you know what, needs just as much sheltering at times. If you're Slater Koekkoek, right, doesn't play power play but ends up going out there and playing on the penalty kill quite often. And that's the thing that Dave Tippett really likes about this defense, is everybody has multiple roles, right? Nurse can be power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5. Same with Barry if you need him. The 2nd pair of right now, Russell and Larson, they can do penalty kill, no problem. Slater Koekkoek was another guy that in extended situations he can kill some penalties and not cost you out there. Evan Bouchard, probably the guy you got to shelter the most right now, but that makes sense, right? We're talking about a young rookie defenseman playing in the All-Canadian division where every win matters. We want to make sure we don't shatter his confidence by having him out there on the ice for a critical goal against. So having him start in the offensive zone, seeing him on the power play last night, there's a couple of great things that really get going for the Oilers with this defense as it currently is. With Slater Koekkoek out, now you lose a guy that is capable of penalty killing. you put in Caleb Jones, potentially, depending on what's going on with Legason and Bear by Tuesday, but you put in Caleb Jones, who's a guy that, right, we've already heard the criticism that he's not a good enough penalty killer, he's not a good enough power play guy, he's pretty much a 5-on-5 guy, and you already see Darnell Nurse has been playing like 30 minutes a night the past couple nights, so do you really want Darnell Nurse playing 30 minutes a night just so you can shelter your third pair, right? Basically operate on two pairs of defensemen and then go 30, 20, 10. I really don't think that's what you want. And obviously Darnell Nurse last night, it was an extended situation because of obviously missing a left-hand shot and needing to be out there a little bit more. But still, right? That's not a sustainable thing. And plugging in Caleb Jones isn't going to naturally just 100% fix that for a guy like Darnell Nurse, who at one point was averaging, just about 23, 24 minutes a night. And now I'm sure the average is probably over 25 minutes a night so far. So you want to see that kind of creep down. But right now you can't seem to get that based on, the injuries on the blue line, which don't forget, we're going to have to call up a defenseman here probably. That's the scary part. Yes, all the defensemen are on IR, but you'll probably see Slater Koekkoek go to the LTIR, quite honestly, with this broken collarbone situation. And then, suddenly, you're talking about probably calling somebody up from the minors to make a taxi squad appearance for the Oilers. So this is where it gets really interesting for a lot of moves. Is Slater Koekkoek was a big piece just in the fact that he was there. That's what made Slater Koekkoek a big piece to the Edmonton Oilers so far this season, right? You think about that goal he scored, that was a pretty huge one in terms of lifting our spirits when he scored it. But, right, he was there, and he was a spot in the lineup, and now all of a sudden you're missing 3 spots in the lineup, technically, because we've seen Koekkoek develop into a guy that's we want in the lineup on that third pair with Bouchard every night. We've seen Legason develop into a guy we wanted with Larson every night. And of course, Ethan Bear is a guy, I don't care where you put him, he's a guy that makes your lineup better when he's in the lineup. Whether you put him with Bouchard and Bear on the third pair, or whether you put him up again with Darnell Nurse, or you put him with whoever, it's just something that makes the Oilers better having Ethan Bear in the lineup. So you're missing 3 guys that we've really come around on this season, right? Of guys that make an important impact on the team in their subtle ways, right? I mean, Ethan Bear is not the big flashy offensive defenseman. He's a smaller guy in the defensive zone, so his plays aren't as catchy as maybe a Darnell Nurse or Adam Larson crushing someone. But, right, and Slater Koekkoek, another guy that just steady Eddie like Chris Russell that was there, and somehow the Oilers are winning. It's nice to see things like that, but unfortunately now we're 3 guys, Legason included, and now you've got to go to Caleb Jones, who, there's a reason he was punted out of the lineup, right? We're not pretending like Caleb Jones played his way to the top pair, and then Dave Tippett said, no, you can't be on the top pair. You got to get out of the lineup. No, that's not what happened here. Caleb Jones early in the season played his way out of the lineup, and Evan Bouchard played his way in, played his way through, and has played his way to stay. So now becomes the question, do you pair Caleb Jones and Evan Bouchard? But the real thing is, right now, to wrap up this video, I have to say my thoughts are with Slater Koekkoek today, because that is a tough break, quite literally, and of course, hopefully a speedy, quick recovery, back in the lineup, doing those steady Eddie things we like. Guys, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I am up on, out of here.